Today is Easter Sunday, the long-awaited day, the day we have prepared for the past 40 days with prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. The day that the Savior of the world, in fulfillment to his words, has risen from the dead. For the past 3 days, we have been in intense mood of prayer through the Triduum, these 3 most holy days, building up to what we are celebrating today. Interestingly, it was just one mystery that we have been celebrating: Holy Thursday, Holy Good Friday, and today, Easter Sunday. The mystery of God's love, the love that is so enormous, so deep, that we could not unpack it, unravel it, unwrap it just in a day. On Holy Thursday, we celebrated that self-giving of Jesus Christ in the institution of the Eucharist and the institution of the priesthood as ministers of the Eucharist. And also in that commandment, mandatum, love one another as I have loved you. On Good Friday, that love of Jesus, of the God the Father, was taken to another level when his Son died for the sinful humanity. And on Holy Saturday, we were in this mood of awaiting that comes with anxiety, yet with excitement. At Christmas, we awaited the birth of Jesus. And on Holy Saturday, we awaited his rising from the dead. And now, in stillness, in joy, in gratitude, we are celebrating that rising from the dead in accordance, in fulfillment of his promise. Destroy this temple, and on the 3rd day, I will raise it from the dead. Again, talking about his death, Jesus also said, as Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days, so shall the Son of Man be in the belly of the earth for 3 days. For Jesus, his rising from the dead is confirming that actually he was sent by the Father. It confirms that Jesus and the Father are one. It fulfills the promises, the prophecies about his death, his prediction of his death and the rising from the dead. It inaugurates the reign of Jesus Christ, seated on the right hand of the Father, and now reigns from heaven. From there he will come to judge the living and the dead. For us too, it gives hope that our own mortal bodies will be raised like his own glorious body. The rising from the dead of Jesus shows that death doesn't have the final say. We might be weighed down. We might be knocked down. We might even end in physical death. Yet that is not the end. There is hope of our rising from the dead. His rising from the dead gives assurance of an inheritance that has been prepared for us. However, there are different stories of the resurrection that might be told. One of the first stories told about the resurrection of Jesus is that it was not true. It didn't happen. It was a farce. Some people told the story that since Jesus in the Gospels was known for disappearing each time they wanted to catch him, each time they wanted to trap him, each time they wanted to arrest him. But probably that is what also happened when Judas, one of his beloved disciples, betrayed him, that Jesus meandered, he disappeared. And in order to deceive the crowd, that the soldiers then caught one of his disciples and crucified him, and it wasn't Jesus that was crucified. But that is not true. That is false. Another story told about this resurrection is that Jesus Christ actually did not die. He was unconscious. And at night, when he regained himself, he got up and walked away. And then the story that he has risen from the dead. But of course, this story about the trying to disprove the resurrection is also false. The one we have recorded in the Gospel of Matthew is that while the soldiers were asleep, his disciples came and took his body, stole the body, and then came to announce to the people that he has risen. And even the chief priests, the scribes, told the soldiers, this must be the story you will tell, and if the governor comes to hear about this, we are going to protect you. They even paid the soldiers to tell this false story. But this did not make any headway. St. Paul, writing to the Corinthians, tells us that Jesus died according to the scriptures. It was already predestined, it was already written, it was already prophesied that he would die. And we are the beneficiaries of his death. And that he was buried. Of course, we don't bury someone who is alive. The burial is a way of confirming that actually he died. But he didn't end there. He rose on the third day, again in accordance with the scriptures. The scriptures foretold that he would rise. And all these things happening confirm, fulfill those prophecies, those predictions, those promises. And for us, the rising of Jesus gives hope to us. It liberates us. The emptiness of the tomb, discovered by Mary Magdalene, confirmed by the disciples Peter and John, is a proof. I don't know the story that you tell. I don't know the story of the resurrection you believe. But for Christians, for believers, for those who have faith, this is a liberating story. This gives hope, a new hope, renewed energy to their preaching. St. Paul again will tell us, if Jesus did not rise from the dead, then our believing is useless. And they accepting it. Our hope in the resurrection becomes useless. He has risen. We are the beneficiaries. It brings us joy. It's a thing of joy. It gives us hope. We may be weighed down. We may be knocked down. But we still have the hope that death doesn't have the final say. Sin doesn't have the final say. Jesus' victory, his rising from the dead, is our own victory over sin and death, over anything and everything that keeps us unhappy in this world. But of course, there is something else that the resurrection does for us. It transforms us. It makes us new creatures, new beings. The tomb is also a symbol of the womb, where life is nurtured, where life is received, and from where life is given. So we are being born anew, renewed. We are transformed. But the story of the resurrection, the encounter with the risen Christ, always brings that transformation and sends us, motivates us to go to make this known to others. This is the mission that Jesus gives us today. To go and proclaim him, to go and make him known, to go and tell others the story of the resurrection and to bring this joy into people's lives. So this is what Jesus charges us today. This is what the real season is all about. This is what you are being told to do. Make him known. Make the story of the resurrection known by the way you live your lives, bringing joy, happiness, peace, and harmony to people that you meet, you come in contact with.